Hello everybody, welcome to the Tuesday live stream. So I'm just going to apologize in advance because this video is going to be full of a lot of hopium and bullishness. And usually what I try to do is give you a balanced opinion about what's going on, which I'll try to do, but this is some pretty positive developments. So let's just break into it. Before we actually break into it, there is a little shout out I want to give to, and that is to the team over at RemoveSpam.app. Now, this is a pay-for service that I use, and the reason why I use that for the channel is because it wipes out spam comments. Now, you may notice a difference between, say, my channel and another channel. My channel usually has a heck of a lot less spam bots in there. And over the last 7 days, they've removed 1,407 of those spam comments and, scam bots that are out there. So it's important for me that you guys are protected as much as possible. Now, along the way, you may notice that there's some spam comments. It's because it takes, so many minutes for them to actually understand what is being put out there, what they need to eliminate, and when they need to ban. So I don't want it to ban everybody, but I do appreciate the ones that it does, so you guys don't have to listen to this stuff. My portfolio is 90% CADVIN, and I've never been more confident in an investment. And same thing with CADVIN, and this isn't a 100x coin. CADVIN has the utility and all that BS that you get. Anyhow, shout out to Remove Spam. I appreciate you guys tremendously, keeping everybody safe. Now let's jump into the big story. Now today, and if you look at the price action, not a very bullish type of sentiment you may feel. However, there's some things going on that I wasn't even aware of this was actually a thing, but it is. 60% of top U.S. banks are geared up for Bitcoin. This is a report put out by River. And it states that more than half of the top U.S. banks have either started offering or announcing plans to offer Bitcoin-related services such as trading or custody. Now, River's going to talk mostly about Bitcoin. That's their whole meal. But I believe other banks are going to get into some types of other digital assets and altcoins, which is good for all of us because I'm sure that a lot of us don't just have Bitcoin. Some of us have dabbled in the occasional S coin. That's fine, no problem there. But when we have these types of, the big banks coming out, I'm like, it's pretty amazing. And then it's not just the banks, because if it's just a story, I wouldn't really care too much. But it was also about this, about Brian Armstrong talking about what he learned in Davos. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong said that a key takeaway from his time at the WEF, or the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, which just happened, was that banking CEOs are becoming friendlier towards crypto. And I remember him talking on MSNBC and saying that he had some appointments lined up, talking to some big banks, as he talked about. He goes, I don't expect them to be too gleeful, but I'll take the meetings. And apparently, these guys are actually embracing it at some level. One of the unnamed banking CEOs he met stated most of them are actually very pro-crypto and are leaning into it as an opportunity. Some aren't quite there yet. One CEO of a top 10 global bank told me, Brian Armstrong, that crypto is their #1 priority and they view it as existential. So why are they taking their sweet time? It's because they're banks. They can't innovate. They're coming out of a blockbuster world. Just give them some time. Maybe they'll actually figure it out before, we've all front run. So that's a good thing. And then River put together this nice little handy dandy chart, which takes a look at which banks are doing something. And you got JP Morgan Chase. It looks like they just announced some trading. Interesting. Bank of America is doing nothing yet. They'll get passed by. That's fine. Citigroup is exploring custody, and you'll see this thing, HNW clients. What that means is high net worth clients only. That's just the starter pack. I believe they'll probably get into it, but banks are a funny thing. They're there for a profit. They're not to change really the world, just their bank accounts. Nothing wrong with that. But you got Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley doing the same thing. US Bank is looking at custody. PNC Group already launched both of those. And there's some that are sprinkled in there that really haven't done anything, but you got BNY Mellon, one of the oldest banks in the United States, State Street. Again, these are multi-trillion-dollar assets under management. They are getting into the game, and I find it, again, I had no idea this many banks were getting into it, but we'll see how that all plays out. This is good, and there's two more things to talk about in relation to this and number 6, Morgan Stanley, this was an article I remember reading 2 weeks ago. Didn't really talk too much about it because I thought it was just too much hopium, but now it kind of comes together. Morgan Stanley is betting big on digital assets, workplace services, and private markets. Here's how they tie together. It's a long article, but it just kind of goes into this one main point. This is Jed Finn, head of wealth management, and he states this: it all fits together in a broader strategy of adopting the change in the industry, and in some cases driving the change in this said industry. Last year, the Wall Street giant announced plans to work with the crypto infrastructure provider Zero Hash to open up trading in Bitcoin, Ether, and Solana on Morgan Stanley's E-Trade platform. Again, just because you got a bank and like say River will say, well, they're getting into Bitcoin. Trust me when I say this, all of them are going to get into some kind of altcoins in some way, shape, or form. Finn says that capability is on track to go live in the first half of the year. Hey, we're there right now. And Morgan Stanley is planning to launch its own digital wallet in the second half. I don't know how big that would be. I mean, we've only got 10,000 of those, but sure. The company envisions its in-house offering as a platform for eventually handling transactions involving not just coins, but all manner of tokenized assets. And as a reminder, I'm going to that Puerto Rico tokenized asset symposium this weekend. So I'll let you guys all know what's going on down there. It should be pretty interesting. And to finish up, this is really a recognition that the way that financial services infrastructure works is going to change, says Jed Finn. Over time, as our infrastructure develops, we'll be able to do more with the blending of the trad finance or TradFi and DeFi ecosystems. And I have to agree, let's hope they all figure it out. And this will lead me to my last point, which this all kind of ties together. And this just came out a couple hours ago. $2 trillion asset under management, Morgan Stanley, one we were just talking about. They just hired a head of digital asset strategy. So you don't just have somebody who's big into wealth management. Now you've got a head of the department, and they'll push this thing forward. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. This was a bullish case. I really didn't see as being as big as it is, 60% or more, but it sounds pretty good. Anyhow, so we have that piece, and then also we need to take a look at, well, unfortunately, rates. And for rates right now, the Fed meeting is going on tomorrow. Well, actually, it's going on right now, I should say. And it looks like we're going to get a rate cut talk or discussion, and that is the 28th of January. And for the 20th of January, which is today the 27th? I could have sworn yeah, so we got tomorrow, we'll have an announcement. But don't hold your breath, because 97%, they're going to pretty much stay the same. And when I take a look at this, we all want rate cuts. We just can't get rate cuts. You see, the Federal Reserve, they get their data from specific instances, and it's not going to be from the most up-to-date types of things. There's a lag in what the Fed does, and unfortunately, they are a little bit late. And I will have to say that I think the Fed still is doing a reasonably good job. I know people are really against Jerome Powell, but hey, haven't had a recession yet, so I think I call it a win. But they are a little bit late. This is a good one. From Pomp, he puts out that, hey, inflation is now 1.18% year over year. The Fed must cut rates immediately. They have lost control. I don't know if they lost control, but I do believe that inflation is not as high as people believe it to be. Now, people will say in the comments, I know what you're going to say right now. Shut up, Rob. The rates are high. Everything is going up around me. I get that. I'm not saying that inflation is going down to zero. We're always going to have higher prices for everything. That's what the government does. It prints money. It debases the currency. Price goes up on everything. It's just that it doesn't go up as fast as what the Fed thinks it is. And the truflation, when I can see this, I'm like, okay, I can see that. Things are doing pretty good. And I'm just going to ask you guys a question. Where would you rather get your data from? I mean, you are the Federal Reserve, right? Let's say I put you in charge. Let's say I put Mullet in charge of the Federal Reserve, right? Or Eric Oren, or Mary, or Frosty Peas, Reddington, Lone Wolf, Moonwolf. I put one of you guys in charge. Where are you going to get your data from? Do you want to get it from surveys? People calling up households? Hey, how you doing? Just want to check on you and see what's going on. How's the unemployment rate going? Oh, yeah? Sounds good. Or you're going to have mail out ballots or information that comes into you at a lag pace. Would you rather do that one with 80,000 data points, or would you rather get 35 million data points with a 24-hour lag versus a 15-day lag? Would you rather use those surveys, or would you rather just have an API integration with, you know, like Zillow and Amazon and Walmart, things that people actually use that they get every 24 hours? I'm just questioning, like, where would you like to get your data from? That's the difference between truflation and the Fed Reserve. And I find it interesting because if they could just cut rates, you know, when you can cut rates, then businesses get to take out loans for cheap, right? They get to take out loans for cheap, they can grow their businesses. The GDP is already up. We're at 4.4 as of Q3. We didn't think it was going to be there, but here we are. We'll see what happens in Q4 later. But things look to be going in the right direction. If they can actually cut rates, we can grow even more, and that's great. Why is that great? It's great for your bags. That's why. I mean, I want businesses to grow. I want us to flourish. I want the United States to do well. I'm not going to apologize for that ever. But the reason why I want it to do well is because if you believe in the banana zone super cycle, folks, they'll tell you that, hey, if we get this ISM, Institute for Supply Management, and the PMI, the index comes out, and we can be above 50 for the manufacturing part, we're going to go to Valhalla, and our bags are going to go crazy. Well, that happens if we can take a loan or take loans and pump up businesses for them to actually grow in that direction. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. To finish up, the most exciting thing you're going to talk about today, stablecoins. Just hear me out. Tether just dropped a new stablecoin. Well, it's Tether, but it's America Tether. Tether takes the fight to circle with a new Made in America stablecoin. This just launched today. It's called USAT. I call it USAT. I'm sure people just call it USAT. USAT is purpose-built for the U.S. market, operating on the federal oversight of the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the OCC. And the issuer of this is Anchorage Digital Bank. Cantor Fitzgerald, we'll get to that, will serve as the reserve custodian. Token launched with support from exchanges like Kraken, OKX, and Crypto.com. Why not Coinbase, you asked? Well, because they got a nice sweet deal with Circle and USDC. So why would they muddle that up? Managed by CEO Bo Hines, USAT will coexist with Tether's global USDT, marking the firm's formal entry into the U.S. domestic regulatory regime. Why did they do this? That's what you're asking. It's because of this. Tether's primary product, Tether, remains the dominant liquidity source in global markets. And the reason why is because the firm faced years of scrutiny regarding its offshore status and reserve transparency. Do you guys remember when everybody would say that what was going to bring down this entire crypto industry was Tether? Because we had some shoddy different types of surveys and audits that were coming through, and they were like, there's no way that actually happened. And then, of course, what did crash the market? Everything else. Tether has been dying since I got into crypto in 2017, 18, 19. It's just, I don't remember when this all started, but every year, Tether's going to bring us down. Well, now Tether just launched their new USAT token because they want to be more transparent and work with the United States government. They partner with Anchorage. Tether's attempting to bridge the gap between U.S. regulators and institutions that require a domestic, made in America alternative. This is why I think this is interesting. Two reasons. Cantor Fitzgerald and Bo Hines. So Bo Hines, if you don't remember him, he was the executive director of the President's Council of Advisors on Digital Assets of the White House. And now he is in charge of this subdivision of Tether. And for Cantor Fitzgerald, who was their custodial service, the former CEO is Howard Lutnick, who is now the Commerce Secretary. And it all flows back to Tether. So I find this interesting. I find stablecoins interesting, especially as we talked about how that would work with AI agents and micropayments. That was a whole nother video a couple of days ago. But I will say that stablecoins, I like when there's more of a use case. If we go into America, great. And the reason why I like it is because the rails that it's built on. And like I said before, there are 4 cryptos that have the lion's share of all the transactional volume. And as far as wallets go now, this was a nice little post put out by Dammy DeFi. Wallet counts across major L1 protocols. What do you notice? It's always the same quadruple projects. It's the best. It's Binance, which has the number one, Ethereum, Solana, and Tron. And if you just look at Visa, transaction volume by blockchain, the top ones are always the same thing. Binance, Ethereum, Solana, and Tron. Or in this case, Ethereum, Tron, Solana, Binance. If you go to stablecoin transaction count, Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron. And if you go down to by Tether or USDC, it's always the same ones. Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron. So I know it's not a very exciting prospect of our stablecoins, but I do see a path forward for the rails that they're built on. And I'll probably be investing more into that. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's hopium bullish video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is relatively time sensitive. But that's it for this one. Want to stick around? I'll answer all your questions, do a little Q&A, and then we'll get out of here. What do you have for me? Steve O, who was kind enough to share that post with me. So thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. That was really good. And it was really good because it lent to my thesis of the best tokens. That's why it was good. You know, we always like to get affirmations of what our models are, what our theories are. It's always good. You know, everybody wants to be right, which is a refreshing change of pace because, you know, I've gotten a lot of things wrong. Let's see. Ballad of the Cat says, thank you, any of the hopium. Yeah, I mean, I really should not beat it over everybody's head, the negativity and the bearishness. I think we all know we're there. Maybe I should be a little bit not so heavy-handed. Start talking a little bit more about some positivity. We are what we continuously do, right? So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Ballad of T-Cats. By the way, you're one of the best crypto YouTubers watching videos every day. Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take the win for the day. Calm is peaceful. Tether bends the knee. Mass adoption very soon. Yeah, I can see that. Jupiter says, see, I hear token. I think 19 is Boardwalk Arcades. Yeah, maybe why I don't invest in tokens. It was one of those things. No problem, Eric. I'm here for you. I'm here to pronounce your name correctly. And as we all know on this channel, I pronounce everything perfectly. Nailed it. Let's see. I think that's it. C2 World. I miss being excited about crypto. I'm losing faith, but I'll go down with the ship. I ain't selling. I gotta tell you, this is pretty much how it always goes. 2018 was, everybody was laughing at us. You know, we got in 2017, like, you dork. This is the nerdy internet money. It's never going to go anywhere. And then, you know, things kind of change, and then you get a little momentum. And then before you know it, like, wow, look at all that. We got businesses coming in. And there's this new guy named Gary Gensler. And apparently he taught crypto at MIT. He says, this should work out pretty well. And this guy named Sam Bankman, he's like a savant. He's gonna be great for an exchange. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. And then of course things kind of go up and then everything collapses. And then in 2022 comes around, you're like, well, you know, we had sovereign nations and businesses, but we had a lot of scams, you know. But you know, there's these things called meme coins, and I think it's gonna be pretty big. And then you know, the metaverse, I think, is gonna come back. And before you know it, that junk collapses, and you're just left with, what does this stuff actually do, and try to get real utility. And hopefully that's where we're actually at today. Hopefully we've grown up enough to go, okay, that was kind of dumb. We shouldn't have done that. And then just come back to what works. I mean, look, I think Bitcoin, Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, and probably some other ones that I'm just missing. You know, like a Sui could do quite well. Like a Cardano could do quite well. Like Avalanche could do, like all these ones that, you know, could do great. Stable, I mean, Chainlink. Like I just kind of got out of that because I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with things I really want to focus on. That's it. But I'll probably miss the big one. Who knows? Yeah. Jazzful says, Bo Hines, Howard Lutnick, and the former chief operating officer of PayPal, David Sachs. Oh, the former CEO of PayPal. COO of PayPal, plus David Sachs, current AI crypto czar. Now the question is, what stablecoin? ADA, Tether, SUI, Sol. As far as stablecoin, it's going to be Tether, but Circle has their foot in the door, so I can see it. So, you know, Tether and USDC, sure. But ADA, as far as like for stablecoins, they really dropped the ball on that one. I know Cardano people hate when I say this, but and they're like, we're not going to pay these extortion fees to be able to put on the chain that is Circle and USDC. Just do it. Just pay to play. I get it. You didn't do it, and now you got left behind. Sorry. All right. Jean-Louis is here. This is a good day. Hey, Rob, the Trump family continues to invest in Bitcoin. Isn't that an indicator? That is an indicator. I think Eric Trump has, what is it, US Bitcoin mining? I'm sure there's no conflict of interest, but whatever. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good thing. I think it's actually Eric and Donald Trump Jr. So you would think that it would take off, but you know, here we are. Joanne Robles says 74K or 107K first. Actually, I'm going to finish off with this, and I'd like everybody to put this in the comment section, whether you'd be live or if you're watching a repeat of this. I did a poll yesterday. It's almost time to get taken down. And I asked a very simple question, which was, what's going to double up first? Will it be gold at 10K? Because we were at gold just passed over 5K yesterday. Silver went to 110. I think it retraced a little bit, but you know, if we double then, that's be 220. Or is it going to be Bitcoin at 175K? Which one will double in price first? I think when you're looking at that, like which one has the more massive upside potential? I don't think it's gold. Silver could, but I just want to invest in things that I know about, things I understand. And I know silver is great, not just for the store of value aspect of it. It's also great for chips, microprocessors. It's also good for electrical conduction, also good for manufacturing, and silver is a big thing. China seems to be putting a stop to exports of their silver. So there's going to be a little bit of a supply crunch then. Who knows? But that's all speculation. I'll still go with Bitcoin. Anyhow, let me know what you would go with, and that's it for today. So look, like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe. That's it for this one. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Adios.